Be honest. Be
Hmm.
honest. When there were so many things that I wanted, there's so many, and I gave them to myself now. I gave it for like 15 years later. I gave them to myself. But if I'd been totally honest with myself when I was 18, I would have recognized myself for myself and not for my college roommate and not for the people around me. I would have just said, like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel like that. And when we're honest about how
Hmm.
what we want and we're honest with how we feel, and all I did was lie all the, like, I lied to myself, I lied to the people around me about who I was. I just tried to, just tried to
Because
impress.
you didn't like, yeah, you didn't like who you were, so you felt you had to create this other persona.
Yeah, value proposition all over the place. I was a chameleon. And
Hmm.
and if I could have just been really authentic to myself and not have worried about anybody but me, including my parents, I mean, I don't think that I would have done half of the destructive things that I did. And granted, I learned, and I am using my trauma to teach other people so they don't make the same mistakes I did. But I don't think I would have done any of that. I think I would have just found my way organically. And there's not knowing, if you're honest to yourself, you know that there's no one way, there's multiple ways. And so you don't have to just do whatever everybody tells you to do. You can just like find your own path, and
Find your way.
it's not going to be smooth, but that's like the good part about it.
Yeah. Those who wander are not necessarily always lost, right?
Right. Right.
And I loved how you said the chameleon, because that can really go into the space of an entrepreneur until the entrepreneur person or person doing business find out who they really are as a business person, or hone into their calling or to their gifting or their talent, and really believe in that talent or that gifting. A lot of times I've seen what entrepreneurs do is that they'll try to please everyone because they still haven't had that confidence or that grounding to say, this is what it is that I'm going to do, this is what I'm good at, and then move forth in building that business. And it's interesting that can happen on a personal level too, us being chameleons and trying to please everyone that comes in front of us and being that people pleaser. But it's really coming from a space of value of how we value ourselves.
We value ourselves. And it's really, when I first launched my business, I did the thing that I don't want to do, which is I labeled myself, and I split myself
Hmm.
into two versions. I was the party girl, and I'm sober now, but I was the party girl. I'm the reformed party girl, and I'm the spiritual meditating girl, like wandering yogi, whatever. And I looked at them, and I said, "Oh, I can't be both. I can't be the party girl that says the F word and is the rock star and is the badass. I can't be that person and the yogi. So I'm gonna pick one." And then I just like couldn't get it. I couldn't get it, and
Hmm.
it felt really weird. And then I took a step back, and I was like, it's because I try to box myself in with labels and nonsense. I'm just Taylor. I'm Taylor. I practice
Hmm.
yoga. I meditate. I'm spiritual, as you and I know. I also am a reformed party girl. I also am really high energy. I also say the F word a little bit too much. Like, that's okay. All of these, I can be all of these things, and there are going to be people in the world that jive with me and that want to work with me because that works, and there are going to be people that don't, because that is
And it's
all.
okay.
That's how it works. I
And
can't.
it's okay.
There are other coaches. We are there. It's like you have there's not one doctor. There's 90 doctors.
Hmm.
There's not one coach.
You
There's
just
90.
have to be confident, being confident in who you are, being confident in your skill sets, your talents, and your gifts is key. And
Yes.
then those who are resonating with who you are will be part of your tribe. Those who feel that you are able to be of service to them, or when you're connecting with someone else and you're looking for that type of personality or that type of character or that type of tribe or community, then it fits. But at least be confident in who you are, be confident in what it is that you do well, and then move forward. But I think that you're saying that if we're not careful, we try to play all these different roles, right? We're this person, we're that person, And that's where the confusion, and they say if you confuse, you lose. So you lose as a person, you lose as an entrepreneur, you lose just as a friend.
Yeah, you do. You do. I like that. If you confuse, you lose. You have excellent sayings. That's a good one,
Yeah.
Tiffany. And it's true. And it's not just you, business or life or whatever. If you're confused, you lose. And
Yeah.
not taking the time to stop. If you don't know the answer, don't fake it. Just
Stop.
wait.
Yeah.
Just stop. And then it comes. Eventually it comes
Well,
when
they used to be that time when people say, "Oh, fake it till you make it."
no, don't do
When
that.
yeah, but that's the saying. That's a saying that a lot of people believe. Oh, fake it till you make it. Just be you. Just be who you are. Is important. As one of my mentors said, hold your image, and it's great. And in the same time, finding who you are is key into building whatever life or whatever business that it is. You can't do without yourself. And I've seen too many people where we would try to do it in a space where, well, if I do this today, if I do that tomorrow, and then you just get lost. You get lost in the shuffle. So you're right, Taylor. It's good to sometimes wait a minute. Let me reflect. Let me observe. Let me find some awareness as who do I really want to be? Who do I want? How do I want to show up in the world? And start there.
And do you think, I think that when that is I think the most wonderful way to ask the question is, how do you want to show up in the world? But I think that if you're in the beginning of your journey, or if you haven't even started your journey yet, and you hear, how do you want to show up in the world? I feel like it's just like one layer too high, where you don't think
Mm-hmm.
about, you don't quite get it. You don't quite get it. And what it means is like, how do you physically and emotionally and mentally want to exist as every moment of your life?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to feel good?
And yeah,
Yes or no? It's like very simple. Yes or no? Do you want to feel authentic? Do you want to feel like you're lying? We know when we're lying. We know when
yeah.
we're lying.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're looking at the person in the mirror. And, as entrepreneurs, what we have to be careful with, because this is what's out there. Go find the target market. Go find your ideal client. But I say go a little deeper. You can't find your target market or your ideal client without figuring out who you are, without figuring out what your skills are, without figuring out your gifts. How are you going to choose your target market when you don't know what it is that you want, or what you love, or what makes you feel good? And if you don't go through that process, then you can literally pick a target market that's not necessarily the target market for you.
Right. Right.
And so it's important to come back. Come back to who you are. Come back to that person. Come back to that little girl, right? That 18-year-old is saying, being honest and talking to that person, that girl, and saying, be honest. Be a person who inspires. Be a person who wants to be an inspiration. And then now seek for your clients. But it's kind of hard to seek for that client when you're still, as we would say, maybe wandering. We're not lost, but maybe wait till you stop wandering for a second and then figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the road that I want to take.
And then as you go down that road, you start to find like, oh, maybe that little thing is a great thing, and maybe that is not. And you figure out the path, and eventually you get to a spot.
Mm-hmm.
You take all the detours. I mean, I can just talk in metaphor forever. Anyway, yes, I totally
But
100% agree.
no, I'm really, really, I truly think you've given so much thought for us to be able to think about where we're going through this journey. And then really, like you said, just Taylor, just be you, just as you're wandering, but you're not lost. Take time to learn who you are and go from there.
Yeah.
Love it. So in closing, if you had to share with the world where they can connect with you, if a person want to connect with you, and where, where would they be able to reach out to you? Where could it reach out to you?
Yeah. On Instagram, my Instagram handle is Living Wanderful, Living Wander, WANDERFULL. And then my website was a blog that went to a writing portfolio that very naturally just developed into my business platform, is livingwonderful.com. And there is my 12-week program and a crash like course intensive that I've created that is on a new platform that my partner just created for me called livefullschool.com that I'm very
Mm-hmm.
excited about. Yeah, and I can be messaged or found in any other way. I'm
I love it.
I'm available.
I love it. Well, Taylor, this was phenomenal. You are a wealth of knowledge. I so appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by your inspired journey. And I look forward to hearing more success with those who connect with you and find out just who they are.
Uh, I wish your guests the best of luck on their journey, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you everyone for watching Your Inspired Journey with Taylor Martin, and I will see you soon.